right, 7 starts with values that are already nicely in molarity and are already at equilibrium. I forgot up here to write out the reaction, but it was given. A plus B is in equilibrium with C. So I can take all of the values that they're at equilibrium and I just plug them into my Kc. I'm done with finding Kc. So Kc is products over reactants. There are no coefficients, so that makes it easy. And these are all equilibrium, they're all molarity. So 0.75 over 0.5 times 1.5, and you should get a value of 1. That's my Kc value. That value is true for this reaction always at this temperature, which we're not changing. So when I changed one of these values, they're no longer at equilibrium. They were at equilibrium in this particular ratio, but if I just change one thing, the reaction is going to have to shift and find a new equilibrium. So these become initial values, and this plus the 0.4 becomes an initial value, that then the reaction is going to adjust and find a new equilibrium. So for A plus B in equilibrium with C, I didn't change how much A I start with. I didn't change how much B I start with. But C is now not just the 0.75, it's the 0.75 plus the 0.4. I'm calling them initial values because I know they're not at equilibrium because they were at equilibrium before I messed with it. So they must not be right now. Change, you can do either side plus or minus, but I know I just added extra over here, so it's probably going to want to go away. And this side is going to add. You can still get the right answer either way. Equilibrium, we don't have the values, we're trying to find them. So I just write out my expressions. 0.5 plus x, 1.5 plus x, 1.15 minus x. Plugging these into my Kc, I know that my Kc still equals 1 because it's the same reaction. So 1 equals C over A times B. You can put over 1 and cross multiply if that helps you. But we have to FOIL. Probably going to have to use a quadratic as well. So 0.75 plus 0.5x plus 1.5x plus x squared. Simplifying this is x squared plus 2x plus 0.75. This side hasn't changed. Adding this x over. Subtracting the 1.15 over. This equals 0. From here, I get to use the quadratic again. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 ac. Make sure you include that negative sign for c. All over 2a. So I get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of something all over 2. 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 0.4. Under your square root should be 10.6. Negative 3 plus that square root. Enter. Negative 3 plus the square root of 10.6. Press enter. Then divide by 2. Negative 3 minus the square root of 10.6. Press enter. Then divide by 2. Looking at which of these plugging back into all 3 would get me a positive answer, it's going to be this one, not that one. Plugging 0.128 back in, 0.5 plus 0.128 should get me 0.628. 1.5 plus 0.128 gets me 1.63. I'm rounding that. And 1.15 minus 0.128 gets me 1.02. And we're done. No more quadratics on the review.